Hi guys, thanks for tuning back in again. I've got a fair bit done today and I'm pretty happy about where I've been going with the layout. I think I might have an idea for a name, a new name as well, but more about that later. What I've been trying to do today is trying to build up areas, build up the lay of the land, I suppose you could say. The different heights, the different areas, and I really wanted this area at the back here to be the area that had the most height, and then kind of dwindling out into this area here, because all of this area here is going to be railway yard type area. And I've been planning out the village scene. This was planning towns and things like that is the hardest thing for me. I can't visualise it for some reason. So what I've done is, and I guess I've never lived in a real English town before, which makes it difficult, or sort of been around them in real life. But what I've done is I've got my inspiration from these Pico backdrops. And that probably sounds silly, but it seems to have worked. Just with the basic sort of setup, the idea being is that the cars will come through here. The station area is all along here. Platforms will curve around. Then I have a little centre area there with our little war memorial and pond, bridge over the pond, a couple of trees, and coming into the wide streets of the village. And I'll have some parking along here. I've drawn everything out with pencil just to give me an idea as to where everything might be. So I've drawn out parking, I've put cars there, I've got the bus stop next to the cafe there. I've got some houses in there as well as some businesses. And I've got the school over here too. Now what I've done differently here with the school is I've actually given it some yard space for the school kids. And I'll probably get some school kids playing games and things like that. Got a little Scaledale greenhouse here, which is a lovely little thing. Been right in my Scaledale at the moment. Also picked up a gorgeous Scaledale footbridge off eBay, which I'm very happy about. Goes nicely with the Regis station. I'm getting a couple of NER buildings as well to go on this side of the platform. I know probably theme-wise doesn't sort of match as this one doesn't either. This is actually the general office from the Goatland station scene that Scaledale make, the NER station, which is actually Goatland station. So yeah, probably realistically it doesn't go with this Regis station, but you know, I'm just mixing it up a little bit. I also got myself a little Scaledale St Andrew's Church. Now, the top here's gone, that's fine, I'm going to make a little scene around that. This area, I'm going to try and put it down, sorry guys. This little section here was actually broken off and glued back fairly shoddily. So what I've done is I've just put it back in place. You can see where it's all cracked down there. I've just put it back in place and glued it into the right spot, and it's come up an absolute tree. I'm going to put some little vines up the sides there so you can't see the cracks. And that little church is going to be my second church, which sits in here. Sorry about that. Sits in here, rather. Somewhere there. And you can see I've done the car park around there. I've got this going off into a dead end. There's going to be a wall there. So parking along the street, parking along the church. Squiggly lines of fences, and little squares of graves with a centre memorial section there. I've also mapped out the main town area, which is just next to the village area, but let's use our creative license a little bit. I think it's going to be quite a nice little scene. A little fountain in there with a little man playing the guitar. He'll have his mates around him as well. And I think it's going to be quite a nice little scene in there, going off the side there. And then wall and platform is there for the main station. We call it a main station, but still a country station. This is probably more like a branch line station. So I've got the school there with plenty of room. I've allocated plenty of room around the buildings for footpaths and backyards. You can see on this one here I've got the greenhouse in the backyard. I'll have a little allotment, little veggie patch in there as well. I'm also going to have little veggie patches in here belonging to this little cottage here, or that yard there. Here you'll see some very shoddily cut up foam. Once all that's glued down, I've got Mod Rock, and I'm going to go over it with Mod Rock and plaster and make the actual side of the embankments and everything like that. The main reason I wanted to use the foam was for the flat areas, to put sheep and cows on and things like that. And it's easy to get bulk flat areas like that. I've raised up the little corner bit where I've got the windmill, the Dapol windmill. But I think when you look at here, I've also got a single Hornby crossing arriving for this one too, which will have the traditional gates on. I think it'll be a nice little touch. So, and I've got the church up the back, sort of raised up the back. So you can see how I've been trying to take inspiration from that Pico backdrop. I'll show you a shot of that backdrop now, just so you can see if there's any similarities. I've also got a couple of inspection pits on order. I'm going to stick an inspection pit here, and an inspection pit here. I'm going to relocate one of these buffer stops to the end of here, because I'm actually going to have the, at this stage, the Metcalfe single engine shed in here. And you can see I've got some of those Gauge Master lighted buffer stops. There's actually 2 units there. There's the buffer stop itself, which just clips onto the rail. It's a lovely setup actually. And got the actual light section here, which again just comes in like a Y piece. You would have seen them before on YouTube, and it just clicks between the rails. You put them in on a diagonal and then push them so that they click in. But they're actually really quite nice. They draw very little power, and they always stay on. So they're very good. I have my Metcalfe footbridge for main station here. I'll get the platform all up and running and get all that set up. I have been getting a number of things on eBay lately, and I'll show you all those as we go along. But for now, I'll just show you sort of mainly what I'm doing with the setup of the town. I've cut this area out here because I've got some 3mm heavy card, which I'm going to run from here down to here, down to here, down to road level, to actually come out to go across the tracks and into the main town there. I thought it would be nice if we had kind of a sweeping laneway type road up into the church area, where the cars will come up here and they'll park alongside here, or they'll park along here. Lynchgate, all fenced off, squiggly lines at the fences, and all the graves all around the church. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to have, I don't know which one's which yet, but I'm going to have a wedding in one of the churches, and I'm going to have a funeral in the other church. Just because it seems a little bit morbid to have them both going on at the one church, really, doesn't it? You can see, I'm going to try and zoom in, and I apologise for the graininess. And I've got the little tunnel portal over here, which I'm going to convert and cut that down into a bridge type setup. Those of you who watch the NYMR videos on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, of course, we'll see that bridge. Dave films it quite often, and I've seen it on a number of other videos. And that's where I've taken the inspiration for this back section here, is actually to make a similar bridge to that, so that when the the camera shot is low, you can basically see the train going across the bridge there. And between those two buildings, works out to be quite an interesting shot. The rain's starting up again here in the garage, so it's going to get quite loud in a second, I think. Been having some wonderful weather in Melbourne lately. So that's the general gist of it. Please let me know what you think about the village setup, the way that I've kind of tentatively put it all. I really do, it is my intention to, I don't do prototypical modelling sorry, I think I had my finger over the microphone. I don't do a lot of prototypical modelling as a general rule. It's not because I don't want to, it's just because I'm not very good at it. So I tend to wing it to a certain degree. So, but one of the things I really do like to look fairly prototypical is my towns. and my public areas and my stations as much as possible. So if you could let me know what your thoughts are on how I've got all of that set up, be greatly appreciated. Hopefully it's all positive. But constructive criticism always welcome. Thanks again, guys, and as always, thanks for watching. I'm feeling like I'm actually really getting somewhere with it at the moment. Now that I've got a lot of things laid out, I've got the church at a nice high point there as the kind of like the drawing in centrepiece of the village, which I really want. I've noticed it's like that in so many little villages. I think once I've got that set up, which I sort of have now, I can really start getting onto some scenery. So interested to know what you think. Well, thanks again, guys, and I will catch up with you all soon. And take care. Cheers.